Okay, with George Yonemori, an afternoon in knife selling with Psycho Sammy. Great title is the short film comedy festival. I think we're both living in the Toronto region. You and I.
Yeah,
We're doing this
yep.
podcast late at night,
Home of Drake.
home with Drake, and we're doing this podcast at 11 p.m. That's what you scheduled.
Yeah, this is premium creative time.
So tell me about where. So whereabouts are you? Are you downtown?
I'm in Scarborough. I'm actually so there are two sides of Scarborough that people in Toronto don't really acknowledge. There's north of the 401 and then there's south of the 401. You
Yeah,
generally want to stay north of the 401 because all the bad stuff is usually in the south. So I'm in the north, like right on the border.
yeah.
But yeah,
So that's so Golden Mile is south of the 401.
Golden Mile is indeed south of the 401. Eglinton is south of the 401.
Yeah, of course. I'm just doing the context here. It's because I
Yeah.
used to go down there all the time back in the day. So okay, so tell me about this film. Well, first of all, tell me about your filmmaking career so far. I know
Well,
you've done a lot of writing, and how about how many films you've made to date?
I have total three films under my belt. Psycho Sammy is the third. I'm actually getting started on my fourth, which I'm very excited about. But I'm 22 years old. I try to do things as cheap as I possibly can. One of my films was actually shot on my Pixel 7, which is right in front of me right now. It's a surrealist horror film about I don't even like describing it. I just like sending people the link and having them interpret it because they get some pretty wild things out of it. It's called Primordial Divinity. And I'm a big Harmony Korine fan, as you can probably guess by the ears. Big into surrealism. I'm really big into music, and I have a feature script ready to go. That's about a girl who can hear the thoughts of trees, but her dad is the CEO of a toilet paper company. So I guess you would call me an emerging creative.
Gotcha. And for people who are watching this, what's the bunny ears? What about even on your Film Freeway page on your
I
bio
have
page?
to.
You get the bunny ears.
It's
Say the
just
bunny
good
ears.
luck. So when you're in a space like TIFF, like I mentioned before this interview, I've been to TIFF twice. You need something that makes you stick out in a crowd. And I have that same approach with everything I do and even the way I live. Like no one's gonna remember my name, no one's gonna remember my face, but they will remember these ears. And actually, I went to my favorite band's concert and I met the drummer because he saw my ears and said, "Hey, nice ears, dude." So
Gotcha.
that's my bit of life advice. You need, as cringe as it sounds, you need a niche. You need a brand identity.
Yeah, I don't know if like you're too young to remember this, but there was a basketball player named Dennis Rodman. I don't know if you know who he is.
I'm not into basketball or any
So,
other sports.
but he wasn't like a scorer like Michael Jordan or anything like that. He was a guy who rebounded, and in order to get attention, he would dye his hair and basically do crazy things with his hair and stuff like that, and that stuck him out from the rest of the crowd. So you remind me of that kind of concept, and then it got him marketing, and it got him. It stuck him out from the other rebounders, I
Uh,
guess.
it's crazy how easy it is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
bunny ears, hair. Yeah. And so basically
Yeah.
that's
I,
what.
I can put this in my backpack when I want to go invisible.
So tell me about an afternoon in knife selling with Psycho Sammy. When did you kind of come up with this idea? Because you wrote the script, right?
I wrote the script. I wrote it as a short story when I was 17 because it's actually based pretty much on a real thing that happened to me when I worked door to door selling knives. It was right after COVID, so we were on Zoom and I was terrible at the job. I was the one selling them. And my manager made me shadow another guy doing the same thing with a lady who turned out to have cancer. And he like actually flipped out on Zoom, started smashing his desk. So I was just there, camera off, kind of tuned out of life, and I was like, wow, sales is crazy. I thought there should be a short story about this. And then I guess the whole process took 4 years to do, from concept to execution. But the actual film production took like a week or two.
Gotcha. And so then tell me about like just kind of the idea. Like what are you thematically? I know it's a comedy, but what are you trying to say in
Oh,
this?
it's all about the C word, man. It's all about capitalism. It's about young people being forced to do horrible things, unethical things for the sake of survival. Because, in the film, The main character Jesse is looking at his tuition fees, and that's why he's there. And it's implicit, but Psycho Sammy doesn't like the job either. He just does it because it's a job, and I'm 22, and I wanted to make a film about my generation. I try to incorporate the youth voice into everything I do because I think that's one of the things I'm most passionate about. And, when I see people working terrible jobs because they have no other option, it just makes me sad. I don't think life's supposed to be like that. And, you know, being put in a psychological space where a woman with cancer not buying your overpriced knives makes you flip out is pretty funny, but also really sad.
Yeah, and like basically the concept is that he's a door-to-door salesman and he's selling knives
Yeah.
door to door.
Commission only.
And it's sort of like when people call you on the phone, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
same.
they don't want to do it. I've done that myself.
Yeah.
I'm one of my best friends is a SDR. And he talks about like
But
he's
what's
talking
an SDR?
sales development representative. It's business
Almost like an
talk.
it's almost like an STD. Yeah,
Yeah,
you knew this.
I
Go ahead.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean they're both viral infections.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's like ring ring. You're supposed to make it sound like you're not a salesman, and they have all these tricks that actually I learned a lot from doing this job. I'm not going to say what company it was, but if you want to make plans with someone, don't ask them when they're available. Give them two times when you're available, and the artificial scarcity will make them pick a time faster.
So you're already learning the art of sales through capitalism. Then that's a good sales.
Yeah,
That's a good
when I
sales.
was 17 on Zoom, right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, it's crazy though. There's something. There's a metaphor of the knives though, right? Like these.
Yeah, it kills.
Yeah, if done right, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the literary devices. I was just recounting what happened to me in real life. And, life has a way of turning itself into something cinematic.
So tell me about the actors. Where did you find the actors?
Well, the lady who's playing Miss Dancer is my actual mom.
Oh,
Because,
really?
yeah, she's my mom. And because when I was selling knives, I did a demo for her. And she was like, no, no, too expensive. No. I just told her, do the same thing you did. The guy who played Jesse, we met at an event that same year, and coincidentally, he also sold the same knives for a little bit. Absolutely hated it, so we had that connection, and we already knew we had to make a movie together. And Jesse's mom actually used to be my boss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's very DIY, it's very amateurish, which I think gives it an appeal. Because I watch a lot of professionally made films, and there's an artificiality there that I don't really want to see in everything. So I wanted to create something very almost like a YouTube video, but with the narrative, a quality narrative.
The quality narrative. Gotcha. So yeah, it is interesting. It's like they're in the house and like it's like it's the question of like I guess it's like you're trying to sell something that you
You
kind of don't
know,
believe in
you
yourself.
you know the person doesn't need it. You know the person can't
Yeah,
afford it.
that's what I mean. And
Yeah.
then that must eat at your
Oh
like
yeah.
I guess some people who have no like are good at it. Like they don't have a conscience. They don't really care, right? They're just
Yeah.
thinking it is the game and it
We're
doesn't
just
matter.
cogs in the machine. If I don't do it, someone else will.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it's all about like the who gets affected by it. Like it's like the certain characters are not affected. Certain people you probably met in the sales game are not affected by it at all. They just kind of continue on their way. Maybe sociopathic, I don't know. But then other people are like, oh my god, it's like it's almost like eats at your soul if you do
Yeah.
something wrong, right? So
Yeah, I think this was the age before buy now, pay later.
yeah, but it's like you're getting rewarded for doing something wrong. There's like a contradiction, right?
Life, such is the nature of the biz.
Yeah. So you kind of learn that in the streets of Scarborough, I guess, in a sense.
Oh yeah, it's really depressing out here. I took line 5 for the first time, and if you go on line 5 in Scarborough, you just see like stores that are derelict almost. It's almost like post-apocalyptic. The amount of just trash everywhere. Yeah, you can learn a lot on these streets.
So what's your goal? Like you want to like make more films? You want to make a feature one day?
I want to make, I have three ideas for features. Two of them are video game adaptations
Oh yeah, and of what? Like
of obscure games. So there's a game called Pathologic that's a Russian horror game set in a town. You play as a doctor fighting a supernatural plague, and it's about environmentalism and capitalism and colonization. And it's one of the most fascinating things I've ever experienced, and it's a shame that it's stuck on the video game medium, so I'd like to turn it into a feature film. There's also another, I'm a huge fan of the movie A Clockwork Orange, and there's a game called We Happy Few that's super inspired by it. It's in this 1960s Britain where people take drugs to numb themselves after World War II. Yeah.
that's a video game?
That's a video game, yeah, We Happy Few. I mean, it's basically when I describe these things, it's like, yeah, that happened, that happened. But when they came out, it was speculative. I guess that's the unfortunate thing of living in this decade. Like every time you try to come up with something dark, it's already real. You're like, damn it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something you could put on a t-shirt right there. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's like my dystopian novel came true before I could get it published.
Oh yeah, what is it? What was the idea?
Oh, I was joking. That was a hypothetical.
Oh no, I just thought I know because I know you've done poetry, you've done short
Yeah.
stories, right? So that you've done all kinds of stuff. So it's
I
like,
try
but
to. It's all unified by a shared, critique of society. It's all like I'm a huge fan of South Park and what they do by reflecting the world through a hall of broken mirrors, I think is really awesome, and that's what I want to do with my creative career. And I just describe myself as a storyteller, and some stories are better fit for different mediums.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm playing a gig tomorrow with my original music. I'm running this event to support homeless youth in the city. I do a lot of social impact stuff as well. Like if you Google me, that usually comes up first.
gotcha. So you seem to be all over Toronto as well. Like you're at Lyft, you go to Lyft, some right, and then
Rift? Yeah, I was filmed at they screened one of my films.
yeah, then obviously Lyft, TIFF, and then Hard
Yeah,
House, right? So you're
Art
doing
House,
like
yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So how do you like was most of this like you had a cinematographer like
I did have a director of photography. He's an award-winning filmmaker. He's really cool. His named Ario. Yeah.
so you're kind of building your team, I guess, in a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
I meet a lot of people. When you're in different spaces, you meet a lot of diverse people. Like I've worked with strippers who are super cool people, and they really like me because I treat them like people.
Yeah.
Yeah. My next film is actually going to be made entirely in VR.
Oh yeah. Virtual reality.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about these three white guys who rob a bank wearing burqas at the same time as three Muslim girls robbing a different bank wearing hockey masks. Who will the cops go after?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're on your way. You're kind of doing all these different things, and so you're getting this film out there, right? So there is a great take on society in this film for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm half Egyptian, so I know that my life is basically worthless. As an Arab person, like on the totem pole of what lives are worth more, I'm probably like at the very bottom, maybe above indigenous people, definitely below Filipinos. I mean, I think a lot about this kind of stuff, like
What do you mean by
sociology.
that?
Like, when you apply to jobs and they ask you to self-identify, like what's the meta? What will get me the job? Because there is a
We'll get you in the
strategy to
job.
that.
What?
There is a strategy to that. Like when always like every time I apply for a grant, I have to tell them, how marginalized I am. It's like, what marginalizations are actually hurting my chances of getting the grant? Because I know being ch half Chinese is hurting me.
Oh, why? Because they're like they're
A
doing well,
minority,
I
yeah.
guess.
It's like, that story about how universities would reject Asian kids to get,
Yeah.
yeah,
because well, they didn't want too many of them. They're all because they wanted more of
Exactly,
a
yeah.
balance. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Like, is was the solution to racism always just more racism?
I don't know. But
It's a funny, impossible thing.
yeah. But so what's your other half?
Half Chinese, half Egyptian.
Oh, gotcha,
Those are the
gotcha.
two, yeah.
So yeah. So then what you're saying you play on the Egyptian side then more than the Chinese side?
Yeah, I identify more as an Arab. I mean, it's hard because I live in a predominantly Chinese community and they are known for not being the most tolerant group of people. So because even though I was half Chinese, because I don't look Chinese like the way they look Chinese, I was the other.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that a lot in cultures though, right? When yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
So you're gonna make
especially
a movie about that then?
um yeah, probably. One of my feature length original script is about a Chinese Egyptian girl who's navigating, what it means to be famous in the 2020s, what it means to be validated as a creative. It's very autobiographical.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're doing the next one, you're doing the VR movie,
The
right?
VR one, yeah, I'm meeting with this music video producer. He's an animator. He just won an award, a huge award. He worked on a George Harrison music video. And
Gotcha.
we went to the same university, and he's coming over to see what this VR stuff can do for film.
That's amazing. Where'd you go to school?
U of T Scarborough. It's kind of a funny story because I when I graduated, they wrote an article about me, and they still use me to promote their English program on their site. As like I'm a model student, I represent the institution.
Yeah, that's a good school, right?
No. Ye- maybe cut this part out in case I apply to work there one day, but like I don't know if you heard, but a student was actually shot and killed there in December.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. It's like it should have been at least the whole city would have heard about it, but an Indian international student was killed by a random guy, a guy who just walked on campus, walked around the buildings, walked inside the buildings because there's no key
I
card.
did. I did. Funny enough, I did hear about this. Yeah,
Yeah, and U of T makes $4.6 billion dollars and they didn't really do anything. They didn't even put in student card scanners to keep the buildings safe at least.
yeah. Was like a one of those
Total,
incidents that they yeah
totally random.
yeah total random incident. Well, I'm on your website. You got a nice website.
Thank you. I
You're,
designed it myself. I design websites too as one of my freelance, like infinite, because you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You gotta be multifaceted.
yeah, you're doing well. You do. It's a nice. It's very organized.
Photography is something I really like. Like, I did take a photograph I'm really proud of, and I think it could win some kind of prize. So in hospitals now they have lottery ticket vending machines in the waiting areas.
Yeah.
It's like so when you're desperate and your mom's, fighting for her life, you can maybe win the jackpot. I think it's so evil, but I took a photo of it and I made it look like Fallout New Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. No, I like it. You got some nice art on your website. You got your writings on your website. So yeah, you're definitely on your way. Like you got lots of good stuff happening. You're just so young too.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about my generation all the time and take a shot every time I mention my generation, but I think the trauma of COVID has not gone away for kids my age. The knowledge that you could wake up tomorrow and everything will be shut down for 2 years as a possibility, that stuff haunts us. So, like everyone is, oh, I'm a CEO. I need to start my drop shipping business. Hustle, 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 work,
Yeah.
work, work, work. Because, there's this feeling that everything's going to end soon. So you better have something cool to post on Instagram before the end.
So you were 16 when it
I
happened to you.
was 16, yeah. Spent them formative years locked
It seems
inside
it seems like people don't really want to talk about it yet.
because because there's what is there to say? It's like climate change. It's like there's nothing, there's no
Well,
one.
it's different because this happened and now it's over, right?
Yeah,
Well, climate change is something
it's
that's in
ongoing.
the
Yeah,
air that's unknown, right? So
yeah. But people just want to forget about it. But the psychological implications, the way, like the levels of body dysmorphia you see in young people today, like people smashing their jaws with little hammers to try and make them sharper. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So March 2020, you're in school, you're in high school, and
Grade
then the next
11,
day
yeah.
they
Yeah.
told you to go home for a couple of weeks, which turned out to be 2 years.
Yeah, and I never nothing's ever felt the same since.
Well, you graduated, I guess, right?
I graduated as my high school's valedictorian.
Did you go to the thing?
There was no thing. It was a live stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no prom.
Did you give a speech?
I did give a speech. It was, oh man, they only gave me a week to do it, and I was I wish I could go back and do it again. I often think what I should have said because I probably would have talked about, environmentalism in a more serious way. Because I think it's really funny. I had this thought recently. It's like 2019, the Joker movie comes out, and then 2020, a virus that comes from a bat destroys the world for a little bit.
Yeah,
Joker, bat, man.
yeah,
It's kind of poetic, is it not?
yeah. Well, there's different theories on the source, I guess, right?
Yeah. No.
I thought it was proven that it was done in the lab.
Oh, well, interesting. I've been more into conspiracy theories lately because of the old am I allowed to say the E word?
What's the E word?
Epstein.
Oh, okay. Yeah, why
Yeah.
not?
You never know. It's like whenever you get on a platform, you don't know what you can and can't say.
Well, yeah, I guess. Well, is that a conspiracy or is that just like
It's
there's
not a conspiracy theory. And I
yeah,
think it's crazy that Americans, they have all these guns, and the guns are there explicitly to reject tyranny, and now they have explicit confirmation that their government is run by pedophiles, and they're just not doing anything about it. They're just
yeah.
sitting around. They're just complaining about gas prices. What
Well,
a funny country.
he's the man of distraction though, right? Like it's when something bad happens, they distract with something else, right? So
Yeah, I'm a journalist. I understand how the news cycle works. It's so sad. The Green Line Toronto is actually interviewing me tomorrow because I'm hosting that event.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what I can and can't say on there.
Well, you
Uh,
could say whatever you want though here, but basically, but no, but what I guess what I'm saying is that you're doing your arts. You're obviously a very creative guy. It looks like you're a musician as well, and movies are there. This movie's here forever, right? Like that's the
Yeah,
interesting thing about, and I think it resonates like universally. It's funny and it's like it's got this universal appeal to it, which is great. And but you keep doing stuff like this, right? Like it's
yeah.
like you're not. I don't think there's any attention that you're hammering home your ideals in the film that you made.
No,
You're
I
making
don't
it
want to be
entertaining and
preachy.
funny, but then it just happens
Yeah.
to be about something.
Yeah, that's you don't want things to be preachy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think you know how to do that.
Leave the preachiness for the interviews.
Well, you're not preaching now, but basically what I'm saying that what I'm saying is that you just keep making movies. Like I think you're onto something.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think I caught your name, by the way.
It's Matthew.
Oh, thanks, Matthew. It's nice to meet you. The curator at the last film festival that I got accepted into, who's also named Matthew.
There we go.
Video Drunk Film Festival, if you've heard of that one out in Whitby.
No, I haven't.
It's underground weird stuff.
So
Um,
yeah, so basically, well, yeah. So I like that you're doing that, but it seems like you got a lot of opinions and ideas, right? So
yeah, you don't want to be an NPC. Like, you ever,
no.
do you have any, do you talk to anyone my age ever?
Yeah, all the time,
Um,
all over the world. Yeah.
Kind of hard, is it not, sometimes?
No, I think what you're saying is that is truth. I think that what what happened to you in 6 years ago. I guess 6 years
Yeah.
ago it was influential, and I think that there needs to be something.
There needs to be more art about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Not
trying to
not
say.
not like the Bo Burnham inside, like the actual experience of being locked inside, but the psychological
Yeah.
consequence of being locked inside.
Well, I think I'll tell you that I interviewed a kind of a pretty established documentary filmmaker, and he said a couple years ago that they were making this a film about COVID, and then they stopped because it was like nobody wanted to watch this. Nobody wanted to like nobody was ready for this kind of truth, right? From an emotional truth, like there's a lot of chaos going on, right?
Yeah.
and and basically it got worse and worse and worse because everybody was just online, and they went down rabbit holes. So, but I think that it's almost like a war in a sense, right? Maybe that decade, maybe in a couple of years, everybody people will be more ready for it because it's like they'll have perspective. But I think that you have a point of view because you're a valedictorian, 16 years old, you're in the big city, and you're basically like you're also probably a horny 16-year-old too. That people don't talk
Yeah, that
about
was a
that.
real bummer. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, having all those sexual experiences with a computer is kind of, man,
No, that's the problem.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
the
I don't
levels
even
of,
want to hear it basically, but
yeah,
you want to get out there. That's
yeah,
what you're supposed to do, right?
the levels of gooning, it needs to be studied, like how normalized it is.
Yeah, and but the problem is that you get institution. We all get institutionalized, right? Meaning that you get comfortable. We're creatures of habit. We get comfortable with the situation. I remember going to Humber College like maybe 2022, and everybody was giving their thesis films, right? But people didn't even show up for this. This is a big event for them because they were so used to not going to school. They just wanted to do it on Zoom. They didn't want to even talk to people because that's what they were used to, right? And I remember being shocked by that. I'm like, this is an opportunity. They can discuss and they can collaborate and they can have connections and they just. But then people got used to that environment, and I still think they still are used to that environment.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed how often young people need to put the word like between every word because they're so used to texting that t talking asynchronously, no, t talking synchronously just is impossible for them. Like yeah, like it's kind of like this, but also like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which doesn't mean anything. Yeah,
once you start hearing that, like listening to other people is just impossible.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that you have a point of view, so you should express that point of view.
Thank you. That's what my psychiatrist said too after he said there's no therapy or medication that can help me.
Yeah, there you go.
I beat psychiatry.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a good yarn to talk about. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody beats that because we're all kind of evolving and psychologically unwinding. So there's nothing to beat. It's just that we keep going, I guess, right?
Yeah. He just said
Keep
keep doing what
changing.
you're doing.
Yeah. So keep going, man, and keep changing and
Yeah.
build your team. Seems like you got a team. Get a
Yeah.
cinematographer, art direction, sound design, all that stuff. Bring them together and make good stuff.
I try to do as much of it as I can. Like the music that's in the film, that's all mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the editing I did myself is actually the first like major editing project I've ever done. But yeah, when's the film screening and where is it? It's in May and
We could talk
June.
about that afterwards,
Okay.
basically. But let's wrap this up and we'll talk afterwards. So congratulations on the film success, and
Thank
we will
you.
talk soon. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. All right.